Moving to this story now, the residents of Pimville are begging Eskom to respond to their questions after going for more than 3 weeks without electricity. Some residents in the Soweto location have been without power for over a month. Joining us now to give us clarity on the situation is Eskom Gauteng spokesperson Amanda Qithi. Amanda, thank you so much for joining us this evening. How do we find ourselves in this position where these residents are going for weeks and now over a month without any electricity?
Good evening to you and good evening to the viewers. What happened in Pimville is unfortunate because their mini-subs, their mini-subs failed, and this was due to overloading. So we did engage with the community leaders in the area to inform them that we have been conducting audits on their mini-subs, and what we are picking up is that about 12% of customers in this area are actually buying electricity. I'm not sure if you've seen the recording that was done earlier with one of Ugogo who is staying in Pimville, where she actually admits that they are not buying electricity, but are now asking us to go back and restore them. So we do have a process that we follow when equipment fails. When we've conducted the audits and we pick up that customers in this particular area are not paying, we issue them with the remedial fines, and the fine is of a total of 6,000 rands. But because we understand that the customers might not have that 6,000 rands up front, we say that they can pay 500 rands, but from a particular mini-sub that is supplying them or a transformer, they need to reach a threshold of 60%. And I can confirm that as it stands, this community, they're sitting at 19%, so they are nowhere close to the 60% that is required for us to start with the replacement process of the failed infrastructure so that then supply can be restored. So unfortunately then in their case, we still need them to make those payments so that we can start with the replacement process.
So Amanda, if I'm hearing you correctly, I mean, you're saying that 12% of residents in that area, according to your audit, are actually paying for electricity. And is it a case of Eskom is saying to these residents in Pimville that when you don't pay, you don't get any electricity?
So we don't necessarily go and switch them off at times, but when the equipment has failed, the replacement process is that if we pick up that the community was not paying for electricity, we will then issue them with the fines whereby they need to then reach the 60% threshold, and only then we will start with the replacement process. So in this particular area, only 12% of the customers were paying for electricity. And this is not something that we're only doing in Pimville, we're doing it right across in the province in Gauteng.
So these people who may not be able to, let's say they're not able to afford also to pay this electricity bill as well. Now, if this threshold is sitting at 60% of the bill, or also the 6,000 rand fine that you speak of as well, the remedial fine, if they couldn't afford to pay the little bit for the electricity, how will they be able to finally make up that payment to finally get to 6,000 rand? I hear you that you'd break it down as well, you know, to 500 rand. But considering that some people are living off this SRD grant of 350 rand a month and some with nothing at all, they wouldn't even be able to fulfill that 500 rand installment.
Right. So Zama, in this particular area, they are on prepaid, so they're not on postpaid. Mm-hmm. So they can go and buy the electricity that they can afford, and also there is what government provides to households that say that they cannot afford electricity, which is free basic electricity, which they can apply from the municipality. It is there to assist households that they say that they cannot afford. So firstly, Pimville, the area, they are on prepaid. So you buy the electricity and then you use it for the month. So in this particular case, it's not that they would need to pay at the end of the month. So they're not using the electricity for the month, and then only to find at the end of the month that the bill is so high that they can't pay. So they are on prepaid, so they can manage what they use based on their affordability. And then secondly, there is the free basic electricity that government has made available for households which are they're often referred to as indigents. They need to go to the municipalities and apply for that so that it can assist them to boost whatever they have that they can afford to pay.
And thanks for that clarity regarding that prepaid system as well in Pimville. But one of the other concerns has been that they've been begging the Department of Eskom and Gauteng to give them some sort of communication, to communicate with them as to what exactly is going on. Do you feel you've communicated sufficiently to the residents, specifically of Pimville? I know that you said you are running this across the country as well. It's not just happening in Pimville, but have you communicated sufficiently with them, because now they feel like they're begging, you know, for any kind of communication, and it's hitting deaf ears?
We have been communicating with the community. I think the first part was for us to give them the reference numbers so that we also give them the bank account, because I had to go with Sichua. They're not sure if the bank account that that they've been given is actually the right bank account. We have provided that bank account that they need to pay into, and also the reference numbers. And we also update the community to say this is where they're currently sitting in terms of the percentage, because they need to reach that 60% threshold before we can start the replacement process.
Well, hopefully they do reach that, because until then it seems they will be in the dark. But thank you so much for making time for us here at News at Prime and Newzroom Africa.